for today's BitChute exclusive. First, the good news, which is that Trump is declaring ANTIFA a terrorist organization, and also the KKK. And I was under the impression that they already were. I guess I was completely wrong. Maybe it's because the Ku Klux Klan has devolved into basically tailgating parties and people with Confederate flags at a barbecue. I don't know, do they even do their cross lightings anymore? I mean, kerosene is expensive. All the rusted out pickup trucks, they're kind of indicative. The Klan's not really a thing anymore. Antifa's got 10 times as many members, and Antifa's not a big organization either. The other part, actually, and this is getting shilled on 4chan and elsewhere, and I'm sure in the comments people will be shilling too. Trump has freed up $500 billion in business loans for black communities. These are loans. They have to be paid back. Mostly, by the way, these do actually turn a profit, ironically. For the record, I oppose giving business loans or grants or anything else on a racial basis. I wouldn't want them to give $500 billion to the White Students Fund. I don't want them to give it to black communities. I don't want to give it to the Asian Heritage Foundation or anything else under the sun. I oppose it on principle because it causes divisiveness. It also causes a lot of divisive shilling. But this is not him giving $500 billion to the inner city for no reason. This is business loans. This is for qualifying small businesses that are capable, in the government's estimation, based on usually accounting metrics, they're capable of growing. They provide a good service. They've got a track record that they're able to succeed and make sound investments. If that is the case, giving that business money is sort of an investment by the government on behalf of taxpayers. Again, something that I generally disagree with, and I certainly disagree with on a racial basis or gender or anything else under the sun. Imagine if they did it on a religious basis. Well, we're freeing up $500 billion for Catholics. I think that wouldn't go over very well now, would it? I oppose it, but it's not a grant. The money will be paid back, and usually with interest. That being said, the government is a creditor. You can get some low interest rates on those loans. That's good, I guess. But again, why shouldn't every American be privy to that? It should be all small business owners, and it should be more than $500 billion. Why don't you free up $10 trillion for entrepreneurs and small businesses? I'd get in on that. I count as a small business entity for tax purposes. The government fucks me up the ass every year from the IRS. You don't even need Lois Lerner in the IRS for me to get fucked up the ass. Have you seen the self-employment surcharge? Trump partially addressed this, by the way. He gave people a 20% offset on qualifying taxes under that up to $100,000. Best thing that Trump put in the tax code. I wish that he would eliminate the payroll tax and FICA and all this bullshit. I'd be making out like a bandit at that point. But I agree totally with marking Antifa as terrorists on a federal level, finally. And some states have done it, like even New Jersey, which is a blue state. That's a good thing, because then Antifa members, when they're caught, they can be brought up on federal charges in a more automated way. It's not necessarily going to be left up to the local DAs. And the problem is that the local DAs in lots of these places, in like Portland, in Oregon, in Seattle certainly, these people have been partially paid for in the political sense during election years. Now, they've been partially paid for in one form or another by George Soros, the eternal boogeyman leftist. Now, I realize he's not the only one that does shady shit. And there are people on the right that do, like, look at the Koch brothers. I know I'm mispronouncing that on purpose, by the way. That being said, when you have AGs that are unwilling to actually bring a person forward on charges when they just basically catch and release, or they give them zero bail and just say, well, on the honor system, upon your own recognition, please show up for the court date. Now, yeah, show up. There's no repercussions for not doing so. If you haul them in on that, they'll let them go again. And so you've got this cycle of crime happening in some of these places. But if Antifa is declared terrorist organization, that's a little bit different now, isn't it? It'll supersede the states and jump it up to federal charges. Excellent. I can't wait to see what happens. I bet some of these riots will begin drying up in certain areas once this is implemented. As far as the business loans, again, we need to understand that this is not Trump giving free money to people as a form of buy-off for the election. This is going to be targeted at a very small number of small businesses. $500 billion won't go as far as you think in the business sense when you're handing out often multi-million-dollar loans to some of these chains. It will help them in the recession, which is good. You do realize that just because a black person owns the business doesn't mean there aren't white employees too, by the way, to the identitarians out there. And it will presumably bring a return. Again, oppose it on principle. In pragmatic terms, this is not a giveaway. This is a loan. I just think that the American taxpayer shouldn't be giving out unilateral loans on a racial basis. I'm vaguely uncomfortable with it, but people that are saying, oh, it's Zion Dawn, Trump hates white communities, he's trying to buy votes, none of that is actually the case. That's about all. Peace out. All right, everyone, I would feel sorry for